The appearance by President Trump was surprising on a number of levels, and pleasantly so when it came to him directly just simply laying waste on Senator Claire McCaskill. She's not going to cooperate on this tax reform plan in any way, shape, or form, and so he just threw her right under the bus, which was fantastic. But actually, what was most surprising to a lot of people who were there was the president's effusive support of Josh Hawley, who is running for the U.S. Senate as a Republican. He's, of course, his Attorney General, Josh Hawley. And, yeah, here's a couple samples there for you.
Josh, our next senator, where is he? He's going to be a great senator. And he wants to see a major tax cut. I think I can speak for him, right?
Yeah, and then later on in the event, President Trump said, "No, I'll come down, and I'm going to come down and campaign for you."
Josh. And I said, Josh, when you're ready, you have my word. I'm going to come here and campaign with you.
So there obviously were a lot of people cheering for that, and there were a lot of people, though, who are also surprised, not necessarily because they don't like Josh Hawley, but just they were surprised because there are other people in the race as well. And one of those people who were surprised was Josh Hawley, who's on the air with me right now. Attorney General Josh Hawley, welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Great to be with you.
At Hawley Mo on Twitter, and so can I accurately characterize that as you being pleasantly surprised by how much he talked you up?
Well, I was delighted to obviously have the president's endorsement, and we had gotten to visit together in the car on the way over. Can I just say, Jamie, I got to ride in the Beast. It's called his limo. It's, I think, the first time I've ever ridden in a limo at all, ever. And riding with the president was a huge privilege, a huge amount of fun. I got a lot of pictures I'm going to show my little boys. But anyhow, it was a great day, and I'm delighted to have his endorsement, and I look forward to going forward and beating Claire McCaskill.
Now, when it came time for you to have this discussion with him, I know that last time when he was here in Springfield, there was a great deal of consternation about the fact that you weren't there, and I understand that you did have your vacation. It was a vacation with the family. At the time, though, I did say, because I was really concerned about Senator Danforth's editorial that was so negative, and to me, and it wasn't because I was making it a reflection on you, it was mostly because I was concerned that he was putting you in a really bad position at this juncture in Missouri political history, because there are many people in the state who supported Donald Trump to the point where a 19% win over Hillary Clinton, and to me, I just think it put you in a tough spot, and there was concern that maybe you were listening too much to Jack Danforth and not enough to the people who voted for President Trump, and apparently that's not the case.
Well, look, it is the president's agenda is the right agenda for Missouri, and the tax cut is a perfect example of this. I mean, it is a tax cut that will provide relief to working families. He talked yesterday about doubling the standard deduction. I mean, the real tangible relief that it gives to middle-class families. Something else the president said yesterday, and he mentioned this to me as well personally, is he said, it's time that people who work for a living had a choice about the jobs that they can get. I mean, that they have more, it's more than just like, boy, I hope I can get a good job, but it should be, no, I should be able to have choice of really good jobs. I mean, it's time that we had an economy that actually works for the middle class, that grows from the bottom up. I think that's exactly what his aim is. That is an agenda that's good for Missouri. And the thing is, Jamie, as you pointed out, Claire McCaskill is not supporting it. And she has said over and again, she's criticized this plan. She said now that she's in total opposition to it. And that's a shame because it's going to hurt Missouri.
Yeah, and I think there was, even in the run-up to this, I had inaccurately predicted that the president might be a little more circumspect about Claire McCaskill in hopes that maybe she would come over to the Republican side. But it was clear that by the time he reached the podium there, he knew that she was not. In fact, she was even tweeting during the time he was traveling to St. Louis about how this tax cut plan is a tax cut for the wealthy, which of course is not true and it's not factually correct. So by the time he hit the podium, he knew that there was no negotiating with her on this matter.
Well, for weeks now, I have been calling on her to support tax relief, a tax cut for middle-income Missourians and to get behind the president's plan to do so. And, she's out there, she says, well, she's not opposed to the idea of tax relief, but she won't actually support a real tax cut that's on the table. She's never met a tax increase, Jamie, that she didn't love. She has no problem voting for tax increases. Why can't she vote for a tax cut that would actually help Missourians? So I've been saying for weeks, calling on her to come forward, commit herself, vote for this. And she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't do it. And as you say, now she's come out in full opposition. She says she won't support it. She can't support it. She's totally opposed to it. And it's just a piece of her opposition to the president. I mean, whatever it is the president wants, she's against. Whatever it is that folks are trying to do in D.C. to actually help Missouri, she's against. And it just goes to the fact that she has become a down-the-line partisan who will not work across party lines, who will not actually work to get anything done for the people of Missouri. It's just whatever the Democrat Party line is. And it's too bad, but that's why she's got to go.
JoshHawley.com at Hawley Mo. Earlier, when we first hit air here, you said that President Trump endorsed you. Is he endorsing you in the primary?
Well, I mean, I don't want to. You can hear what he said yesterday. I mean,
yeah.
I'm grateful for his support, and I think that look, he is focused on beating Claire McCaskill, as am I, and I'm grateful for his backing and his offer to come and campaign. I'm going to take him up on that, and I look forward to getting this thing done. I mean, we have got to have a change in Washington. Claire McCaskill is part of the dysfunctional Washington elite, the dysfunctional establishment that is doing nothing for the people of Missouri. In fact, it is preventing actual tax relief. It is preventing real solutions for the people of Missouri. She's a poster child for Washington failure, and that's why we're going to beat her.
Attorney General Hawley, I talked earlier to Austin Peterson, who is running also on the Republican ticket for the U.S. Senate, and he has basically said that you are a part of the swamp, that you're like a McConnell guy, you're an establishment guy. And Austin Peterson does indeed have a lot of support among President Trump supporters as well. I mean, it's a real mixed bag of individuals who are out there and who are going to be active. How do you get past that perception among some that you are part of the establishment? And Danforth, I don't think helped get rid of that belief. But I also know that Jane Cunningham and others are supporting you as well, and they're strong conservatives. But how do you get past that perception?
Well, Jamie, I have never been a part of the political class, the political establishment. I've only been in politics when I ran for Attorney General. My life has not been spent in politics. My life has been spent, my career has been spent in constitutional law, working and fighting for our Constitution, fighting for our bedrock foundational beliefs as Americans. And that's what I have done as Attorney General. It's what I'm going to continue to do in the United States Senate. So my view is that, look, you've got to be independent, and I've got to continue to fight for what I believe and be who I am. And I value my independence highly. I'm indebted to no one. I make commitments to nobody. The only people I make commitments to are the people of this state and the Constitution of the United States. And that has been true of me since I have been fighting for our Constitution my whole legal career, and that's what I'm going to keep doing.
And now how do you get past the people who say, well, yeah, speaking of commitments, we elected him to be Attorney General, and now 2 years in, he's running for U.S. Senate?
Well, it is true that this is not a race that I had intended to run. This is not something that I thought I would do. But look, it is, as the president said yesterday, he alluded to the fact that this is an urgent time. We have an opportunity right now to accomplish some major reforms for our country, beginning, by the way, with tax cuts for the middle class, but extending. He talked about welfare relief or welfare reform yesterday, which is critically important. He talked about other measures to help American workers be able to compete fairly and to get back on their feet. We have an opportunity now in this urgent moment to actually make changes that have to be made if we're going to revive our country, if we're going to change the direction of our country. And I feel that sense of urgency, Jamie, and I think that, look, this is something that we hadn't planned to do, but it's something that we've all got to do all the good we can in all the ways we can. And I think that this is my small way in my own small sort of corner of the universe to do all the good that I can. So we're in it to win, and we're in it to represent the people of Missouri, and we're in it to change Washington. And that's the thing I want to emphasize is, if people want somebody who's going to go along to get along, they shouldn't vote for me. But if you want somebody who is going to go to take on the dysfunction in Washington, to take on the Washington establishment that Claire McCaskill represents, then I'm your guy.
So, and you were riding in the Beast with the president once he hopped off of Air Force One. Do you think it was proper for you to demand that they turn up the jams in the limo? I don't think that it was. I heard that you.
Well, I started by saying, "Why don't you let me play DJ? I'll get my phone right here. And let me plug in." But the president wasn't so high on that. But no, it was a real privilege to get to be with the president, greet him on the tarmac, and ride with him, and just listen as we came to the event. To him talk about Missouri. We talked about Missouri, how things are going here in the state, and we talked about the real effect that his tax plan, the tax cut, would have on the people of Missouri, would have for people who are trying to get jobs, would have for people who are trying to get a raise. So he gets it. I mean, he understands what people are struggling with out there. A lot better, I could say, than the elite media and the Hollywood people and Wall Street and all those folks. He understands a lot better than they do. So it was great to hear that. You heard that in the speech yesterday. You heard that come through.
Yeah, no doubt about it. All right. Well, Josh Hawley, thanks so much for spending as much time as you have. Appreciate you being on. Of course, you're welcome anytime, friend.
Thank you.